Subscribe to my YouTube channel, share it with your friends, and comment your thoughts. The heavy crystal wine glass slipped from Ayan's fingers, crashing against the pristine marble wall with a deafening shatter. Red wine spilled like blood, pooling on the polished floor. Sana's breath hitched. The silence in the room was suffocating. Ayan stood tall and rigid in his designer suit, his dark eyes flashing with a cold fury that scared her more than any slap ever could. "Get out," he spat, his voice low but sharp, slicing through the air. Sana's hands trembled as she clutched her son's tiny backpack. The tears she wanted to cry were held hostage in her throat. Rayyan, her 5-year-old son, stood beside her, wide-eyed and clutching her skirt. He didn't understand the storm raging between his parents. He just knew Daddy was angry. "Please, Ayan, don't do this," Sana pleaded, her voice breaking. "Let me explain." But Ayan's glare hardened. "Explain? You thought I wouldn't find out? You thought I'd just turn a blind eye to your lies?" Sana's heart cracked. Lies. The word echoed like a curse. Rayyan looked up at his father, innocent and confused. "Daddy, why are you mad at Mommy?" Ayan's face twitched, the hardness wavering for a fraction of a second. But then it hardened again. "She's nothing," he said coldly. "Nothing but a secret I'm done hiding." The security guards moved toward them. Tall, stern men Sana didn't recognize. New guards, replacements no doubt, called in for this very moment. "Don't you dare touch me or my son," Sana warned, stepping protectively in front of Rayyan. Ayan smirked. "You've lost everything. You'll leave and never contact me again." Tears welled up, but Sana blinked them. Back. Not now. Not in front of him. She reached into her coat pocket, feeling the cold metal of something she'd hidden away for years, a small silver locket, the one he never knew about, the one that held the key to the truth. Flashback. 5 years earlier, Sana sat alone in a crowded cafe, the scent of coffee mixed with the bitter taste of regret. She was a waitress then, simple, unnoticed, living paycheck to paycheck. Life had never been easy, especially with a child she had to raise alone. Rayyan was only a year old. The world had been harsher than she'd imagined. Then came Ayan, a wealthy businessman known for his ruthless deals and icy charm. He saw something in her. Or maybe he saw a way to fix his own loneliness. They fell into a whirlwind, lavish dinners, whispered promises, stolen nights. She thought it was love, but she was wrong. When she told him about Rayyan, about the son she had before, they met, his smile faded. "You lied," he said. "I don't keep secrets." She begged him to stay, to accept Rayyan as his own. For a moment it seemed he might. But then the whispers started. The rumors, the betrayals behind closed doors, and the truth was never what she thought it was. Back to present. The door slammed, shut behind Sana and Rayyan as they walked out of the penthouse, their former home. Ayan didn't look back. Sana's breath came fast, the chill night air cutting through her coat. Rayyan shivered, pressing closer to her. "Mommy, why did Daddy shout?" he asked softly. Sana forced a smile. "Sometimes people get angry, Beta, but we'll be okay, I promise." She didn't believe those words. Not yet. The city lights blurred behind them as they walked down the street, surrounded by strangers. She had nowhere to go, no friends, no family, just a small duffel bag with a few clothes, the locket in her pocket, and the burning question that haunted her every waking moment. Who is Ayan really? The motel room. 4 days later, Sana sat on the edge of a stained mattress in a cheap motel room outside the city. The faded wallpaper peeled like forgotten memories. Rayyan slept peacefully beside her, clutching a worn-out teddy bear. Sana's phone buzzed. She hesitated, then picked it up. Unknown number. Her heart raced. A voice whispered through the crackling line, "You don't know the whole truth. He's not who you think." Then the call ended. Sana stared at the screen, breathless. Her mind raced back to that night. Rayan was born. The doctors, the hospital, the whispered conversations she overheard. She opened her bag and pulled out an old photo album. Fragile, yellowed with time. Among pictures of baby Rayan and happier days, a photo slipped out. It was a snapshot of a hospital corridor. A woman, wearing a necklace identical to hers, stood holding hands with a man. Behind them, a doctor smiled, but this wasn't the hospital where Rayan was born, nor was it the city. Sana's fingers trembled as she studied the photo. Her heart pounded. What was this? Why had she never seen this before? What had Ayan never told her? That night Rayan stirred in his sleep, mumbling softly. Sana wiped her tears. Her mind was spinning with questions, fear, and a tiny spark of hope. She looked down at the silver locket, the one she'd hidden so carefully. Inside was a picture of a woman she didn't recognize, a woman who looked like her, and the same necklace. Sana realized with a cold shiver down her spine that this mystery was bigger than she ever imagined, and that the life she thought she knew was just the surface of a deeper, darker truth. The first light of dawn crept through the grimy motel window, casting long shadows across the cracked walls. Sana sat by the small table, her eyes bloodshot from a restless night. Rayan still slept, curled under a threadbare blanket, clutching his teddy bear close. Sana held the mysterious photograph in her hands, turning it over and over as if it might suddenly reveal its secrets. She didn't understand. Why had she never seen this photo before? Why was the woman in the picture wearing her necklace? And most of all, who was she? Her fingers trembled as she flipped the locket open again, staring at the unfamiliar face inside. Then the motel phone rang. Startled, Sana answered. The line was silent for a moment. Then a low, husky voice whispered, "You don't know the truth about Rayan's birth. You need to come to the address I'm sending you." Before Sana could ask anything, the call ended. Her hands shook, her heart hammered. Who was this stranger? How did they know about Rayan's birth? A new lead that afternoon, clutching the photo album and the silver locket, Sana found herself standing outside a small, run-down clinic on the edge of the city. The address from the mysterious call. The building looked abandoned. Windows dusty and cracked, a faded sign swinging in the breeze. She hesitated before pushing the door open. Inside, the smell of antiseptic mixed with dust. No receptionist, no patients, just silence. Then, from a shadowed corner, a man stepped forward. He was older, with graying hair and kind eyes. "Are you Sana?" he asked softly. Sana nodded. "My name is Dr. Fahim," he said, pulling out an old file. "I worked at the hospital where your son was born. I've been waiting for you." Sana's heart skipped. Why? What do you know about Rayan's birth? Dr. Fahim sighed deeply. There are things you don't know, things they tried to hide. The hidden truth, Doctor. Fahim led Sana to a small room, filled with old medical files and photos. He handed her a thick folder. Inside were birth records, hospital logs, and photographs. Sana's hands trembled as she flipped through the documents. Her eyes caught on a name. Another woman listed as Rayan's mother. Her breath hitched. "Who is she?" Sana asked, voice barely a whisper. Dr. Fahim hesitated. "This woman, Zara, was in labor the same night as you. There was a mix-up, a secret kept by the hospital, and certain powerful people." Sana's mind reeled. "But Rayan is my son. I gave birth to him." "Yes," Dr. Fahim said, "but the baby you took home that night was switched at birth. The truth was covered up to protect someone." Sana's hands shook. "Why? Who did this?" Dr. Fahim's eyes darkened. "The man behind it is someone you trust, the billionaire, Ayan. Shattered world Sana staggered back, clutching the edge of the table. Her mind raced. The man who had destroyed her life was also hiding this terrifying secret. Ayan wasn't just cruel and selfish. He was a liar, a manipulator, and he had stolen something precious from her without her knowing. Ryan was not her biological son, and that meant everything she thought she knew was a lie. Tears spilled down Sana's cheeks. She thought of Ryan sleeping peacefully in the motel bed, innocent and unaware. How could she protect him from this nightmare? The call. She never expected. Her phone buzzed again. A message from an unknown number. Meet me tomorrow, 7 p.m. The old pier. Come alone. Sana's pulse quickened. Was this another trap, or a chance to finally uncover the truth? She knew one thing. She couldn't run anymore. She needed answers, and she needed to fight. The lonely fight. The next day passed in a blur. Sana kept Ryan close, playing pretend princess in the motel room to shield him from the storm she felt inside. But her thoughts kept drifting to Ayan, the man who had shamed her, thrown her out, and now, it seemed, hidden the biggest secret of all. What if Ryan's real mother was out there somewhere, suffering just like Sana? What if her son's entire life was a lie? Her phone beeped again, a new message. Don't trust anyone, especially him. Sana's heart pounded. Was Ayan watching her? Was he always one step ahead? Nightfall at the pier. That evening, Sana wrapped Ryan in her coat and left him sleeping at a friend's house, someone she barely knew but trusted enough for this one night. The old pier was deserted, cold waves crashing against the wooden planks. She waited, heart pounding in her chest. Minutes stretched like hours. Finally, a figure emerged from the shadows. A woman. Her eyes were fierce, filled with pain and determination. "I'm Zara," she said softly. Sana's breath caught. The woman in the photo. Zara took a shaky breath. "They stole my baby. They switched us." Sana's world tilted. "You mean Ryan?" Zara nodded. "I'm his real mother." A shared pain. Sana's throat tightened. This can't be true. But why? Why would they do this? Zara's eyes filled with tears. Ayan, he wanted a perfect image, his perfect family. The truth would ruin everything. Sana looked at Zara. Two women, both robbed of motherhood, both victims of a monstrous lie. "We need to find him," Zara said, voice fierce. "We need to expose him." Sana's heart hardened, for Ryan's sake and for ourselves. The beginning of the enders. The cold wind swept across the pier. Sana realized she was no longer alone. She had an ally, and for the first time in years, a flicker of hope. But she also knew that facing Ayan would be the most dangerous fight of her life. The billionaire who had once held all the power was about to lose everything. The night after her meeting with Zara, Sana lay awake in the cheap motel room, her mind a tempest of fears and questions. Ryan was asleep beside her, his soft breathing a fragile lullaby against the chaos in her heart. She replayed Zara's words again and again. "They switched us." Ayan wanted a perfect family. But how, why, and most of all, what could she do now? The next morning, a plan in motion. Sana met Zara early the next day at a quiet cafe far from the city's glittering skyscrapers. Zara pulled out a small envelope. "I managed to get this from someone inside Ayan's company," she said, eyes sharp. Inside were documents, emails, contracts, and a name Sana didn't recognize. "Dr. Cameron. He's the key," Zara whispered. "The one who helped switch the babies. He's been paid off to stay silent." Sana's heart pounded. This was bigger than she thought. "This isn't just a family secret," Sana said. "It's a conspiracy. Breaking into the lion's den with Zara's help, Sana decided to get proof that would shatter Ayan's carefully built empire. They planned to sneak into Ayan's corporate headquarters that night, where confidential files were stored. Sana was terrified, but determined. for Ayan, for the truth. Inside Ayan's world, the sleek lobby of Ayan's company gleamed with cold luxury. Security cameras watched every step. But Sana and Zara had a plan. Using stolen access cards and Zara's insider knowledge, they slipped past guards, their hearts racing. They reached a restricted area marked medical files. Inside, rows of cabinets held patient records, birth certificates and more. Sana rifled through the files, her hands shaking. Then she found it. Rayan's original birth certificate. The name on the certificate was not hers. It was another woman's, her breath caught. The name was Zara. The confrontation begins. Before they could leave, a shadow loomed. A cold voice said, "Looking for something?" Ayan stood there, dark eyes blazing. "Why are you here, Sana? Trying to dig up old lies?" Sana's hands clenched the file. "This isn't a lie, Ayan. It's your crime." He laughed coldly. "You think you can ruin me? I made you, I gave you everything, and you repay me with betrayal." Sana's eyes flashed. "You're the one who betrayed me. And my son." Zara stepped forward. "This ends tonight, Ayan." "Secrets," exposed. Ayan's smirk faltered. "How much do you really know?" he sneered. Sana took a deep breath. "We know about Dr. Cameron, the baby switch, the lies." Ayan's expression darkened. "You have no proof." Sana held up a flash drive. "We have everything." The battle for truth. Suddenly, alarms blared. Security rushed in. Sana and Zara exchanged a glance. They had seconds. Sana grabbed Rayan's birth certificate and the flash drive. Zara led Sana to a side exit. They barely escaped before guards flooded the area. Outside, breathless and shaken safe for the moment, Sana's legs trembled. "How did you know about this place?" Sana asked Zara. "I worked here before. I saw the files being hidden." Sana looked at the flash drive. "This is just the beginning." Ayan's wrath back in his penthouse. Ayan slammed the door shut. His face was thunderous. "How dare they?" He picked up his phone and dialed. "Find them. Bring them to me, alive." A mother's promise that night. Sana held Rayan close. "I won't let anyone hurt you," she whispered. Tears streamed down her face. "I'll fight for you, no matter what." Cliffhanger ending, but as she drifted to sleep, her phone buzzed. Message flashed on the screen. "You're playing a dangerous game, one that could cost you everything." The cold message on Sana's phone haunted her through the night. Every shadow seemed to whisper danger. But her resolve was stronger than fear. Rayan's small hand in hers was a lifeline, the reason she would fight to the very end. The hidden ally Sana's phone rang early the next morning, a number she didn't recognize. "Who is this?" She asked cautiously. "My name is Aisha. I worked with Dr. Cameron and I know everything about the baby switch." Sana's heart leapt. "Can you help me?" "Yes," Aisha said firmly, "but you have to trust me." The secret meeting that evening, Sana met Aisha in a quiet park under the veil of darkness. Aisha handed over a file thick with documents, bank transfers, hospital logs, even voice recordings. "They paid me to keep quiet, but I can't live with this guilt anymore." Sana's eyes filled with tears. "This is what we need to bring Ayan down." The final confrontation. Armed with evidence, Sana and Zara prepared to confront Ayan publicly. They arranged a press conference, inviting reporters from the biggest news channels. The world was about to hear the truth. The day of reckoning under. Flashing cameras and blinding lights, Sana stood with Rayan and Zara by her side. Her voice was steady, but full of emotion. Ayan Khan used his wealth and power to destroy families, to lie, to cheat, and to steal my son. Gasps filled the room. Zara stepped forward. "I am Rayan's biological mother." The truth was hidden because Ayan wanted a perfect image, but the real cost was the lives of innocent people. Ayan's downfall, Ayan, appeared on the screen, trying to deny everything, but the evidence was overwhelming. The audio recordings exposed his bribery. The documents revealed the conspiracy. The public turned against him. Within days, police arrested Ayan and his accomplices, including Dr. Kamran. Healing wounds months passed. Sana and Zara worked together, healing the wounds left by lies and betrayal. Ryan was now surrounded by two loving mothers who fought fiercely for his happiness. A new beginning one sunny afternoon. Sana held Ryan's hand as they walked through a park. She smiled as Ryan laughed, playing with other children. She whispered softly, "No matter what, you are loved, always." Epilogue. Truth and love. Triumph. The media had moved on, but Sana knew her story would live on, a testament to courage, truth, and the power of a mother's love. She looked at Ryan and Zara, her heart full. The road had been long and painful, but finally justice was served, and this time the truth would never be hidden again. The end.